Hello and welcome. We are coming to you live from University City, Philadelphia, here at the Vitus Field Complex at Drexel University. I'm Sean Dacey. With me today is Lane Young.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here today.
We're looking forward to a very exciting matchup tonight between the Philadelphia Surge and the DC Shadow. As you can see, the New York Gridlock just won their game against the Austin Torch in a very hot game here on this turf.
That was a commanding victory, it looked like, from where we stood.
Yeah, we had a pretty good view in some shade where we were able to watch. It just looked like New York kind of had a very good hold on that game from the start and seemed to just keep their lead throughout the game.
The pace and the tempo of the game really felt like it was in New York's favor as they were going along. They were outscoring the Torch at a fairly consistent beat, and it just extended throughout the entire game. And so it'll be interesting to see what this game brings, if there is a potential for a blowout or if we're going to see a closer matchup.
I'm personally hoping for a closer matchup.
I think it would be much more interesting to see a close game personally as well.
I agree. So we're getting ready. See what the teams have been.
We are looking right now at the path to championship weekend, and as I mentioned, the DC Shadow has been commanding in their lead over the teams that they have played. First in their division, key wins over Raleigh twice and a Torch who we saw earlier today. And what has it been like for Surge?
The Surge have really only run into one roadblock, and if they win this game, we'll see them on the other side of the bracket. That is the New York Gridlock. But other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing for the Surge. A couple key wins against the Torch and in Indianapolis Red.
And speaking of Torch, it is hot out here on the East Coast. It is 95 degrees Fahrenheit, but it might be even hotter down on the turf where our players are cleaning up and getting out on the field right now.
Yeah, there was word that the temperature was around 150 on the turf earlier.
Whew. And speaking of heat, we have Cammie Groom coming out into the field, and she has had an incredible season so far. She has been at the lead in a number of statistics, including goals, receiving yards, and blocks for DC, and is tied overall as the blocks leader. Here is some highlights from Cammie from across the season, just absolutely dominant in her space. DC can rely on her to go deep for the disc. As I mentioned earlier, for blocks, she is a critical player on on Shadow's defensive line, and can also make some assists as well. And so we are looking forward to seeing Cammie out there today, and I think DC is going to be turning to her. Here are her stats from across the season. As you can see, she has made a huge impact for DC Shadow, and they're going to need her today to make sure that they can clinch their berth to the championship game tomorrow.
And on the Philadelphia Surge side, we have Emily Shields, who's been a standout player, also a first-year player here for the Surge, but is native to the Philadelphia area. Here are some of her highlights. She's just been a steady force on offense for the Surge, catching the goals, coming down with crazy grabs like this one you're seeing, and just overall just being sort of a rock in the cutting space for the Surge throughout the season. Just super consistent.
Has some really steady hands there, finds space really well, and I think these stats are really going to show just what she's capable of.
Yeah, as we move on, hopefully she can add a couple more stats to that line. Those lines would be great. Receiving yards over 1,100, that's a lot.
That is huge.
We'd like to take this time to thank Discraft. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Discraft. The Discraft Ultra Star is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports.
So we are getting lined up here on this field. I am looking to see who is going to receive, but looks like we'll have to wait till the teams get lined up in their respective lines before we get going. But I'd be interested to get your thoughts. What do you think we might be seeing here today from these two teams?
I think we are going to see a battle of obviously two of the best teams in the PUL. I'm hoping for a really tight, contested game. Obviously, I am a Surge fan, but I'll keep it as unbiased as I can up here. But I would like to see this game be close. And yeah, so let's go ahead and tune into some of these huddles, see what's going on down on the field.
The old-fashioned flip, whoever wants them. Who's calling it? All right, calling it here. Same as the call, and it is. All right, Philly is there for the first half. Offense. Philly is pulling for the first and third quarters. All right. Thank you all. You got it. You got it.
As you heard there, Philadelphia will be starting on defense, pulling downwind to the shadow on O.
Yeah, you can't quite see it from where you are probably at home, but we do have a slight breeze on the field that will impact a bit of the play and hopefully keep the players a little bit cooler as we get into the game.
Yes, and also as the DC Shadow roll into Philadelphia, they are bringing their own giant shadows here on the field, hopefully cooling that turf down. As I mentioned it earlier, it was 150 degrees on the turf earlier today, I believe at the start of the New York Gridlock game.
Yep, and we've got our starting lineups for both of these teams. We have, again, Surge on defense, Shadow on offense, and it looks like both are bringing, this is what they've been waiting for all season. So this is their, they're bringing their A teams. They are looking to be making an impact really early in the game. And we are going to take a quick break before we get going.
Linda Morris with the disc here. Looks like there's a call on the field. I believe it's a pick.
I have to say, number one thing I would love to see from Ultimate in the world is more use of hand signals so that we, up in the commentary booth, can know what's going on.
Yes, that is very helpful.
Ooh, a slight miscommunication there.
Yeah, that's a big miscommunication there. That's one that you can't have against a team like DC, as Annalise Peters starts with the disc, swings it over to 22, Erin McCann in the middle to Ashley Gentilette, who's going to shoot deep, but a little too far for number 42, Lizzie Laurie.
So Philadelphia will get a chance to take the disc back, and hopefully for them, I'm sure they'll be looking to make good on this hold.
I mean,
a dirty hold's better than a break, so I'm sure they're looking forward to getting this chance back.
Yeah, if you're DC, you're loving this. The Surge offense now has to work all the way back up the field after they just worked so hard to get the disc,
And it looks like upwind.
Wow. Amanda Murphy with a hand block on Emily Shields on the far side. Wow.
Beans has been a real key person for DC Shadow over the many seasons she's played. So, Jesso with the disc.
Good defense there in the space from Emily Shields to recover. And some good pressure on Amanda Murphy. That's a nice matchup. Annalise Peters looking for the end zone. Ashley Gentilette is there, and we have our first break of the game.
All right. DC bringing a lot of energy, looking very excited down on the field to get that first break opportunity. And this is where we've seen in other DC games, when DC turns the disc over, oftentimes they're able to capitalize on those break opportunities. It's not that other teams aren't playing well or they don't have the skill, that they don't have the matchups, but DC really has sort of a relentless drive when they're able to get those breaks. And so this next point will be pretty crucial, I think, for Surge to be able to get up on that board. All right.
Good grab there from Shields as we take a look at the highlights from this point.
Oh, yeah, there's that big layout from Morse.
And just that miscommunication. Errors like that are not going to be... You just can't make those type of errors in a game like this, with these type of stakes.
Yeah, small error, but big impact, I think, overall.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a foot block, I think, from Murphy.
Great defense from her there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're seeing the layout from Peters, losing the hat, very stylish, but gets right back up in the saddle and puts one up to Gentilette. And here we go, back on the stage.
Raha Mozaffari, looks like we have the D-line here on offense. Shooting deep for Lindsay McKenna with a great grab. Lindsay looking to Kat Harper, decides to dish it back to Natalie Bova.
I would not want to go up one-on-one on McKenna in the deep space. I'm 5 feet tall, though, so not a good matchup for me.
It's not a good matchup for me either. Natalie Bova with the disc, looking for Kat Harper, finds her on the far side. Kat Harper swings back to Lindsay. Kenna up to Mozaffari. Nice inside shot, looking for Sumi Onoe. Nice layout grab to save it there.
Nice use of space there by Philadelphia.
Dump back to Mozaffari, back to Onoe. Little wobbler, but it'll get there for McKenna. Nice little lefty inside shot to Natalie Bova. That's the Surge's first goal of the game, first hold as well.
That's some good work. That looked clean.
From the Surge D-line.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, with this heat, you can't imagine that the coaches are going to be wanting to put out the same personnel for many more than 1 or 2 points, especially this early in the game where you're going to be wanting to keep people fresh. And so let's take a look at that layout again by Sumi Onoe. Yep. And then the little, like you said, a little wobbly, but McKenna was good for it. So, and then a little inside shot. Great hold.
Yeah, good hold there from the Surge. Yeah, I mean, after that first O point from the Surge, you can kind of, it's understandable to take majority, if not all of those players off the field just to get them to cool down, because it is brutal out on that turf, even with the shade, I'm sure.
Even with the shade, yeah, we were talking to one of the people who works here at the complex, and they were just saying, just like any turf, just the absorption of the heat and then what it emits even throughout the night is really quite impactful to the people who are on it. And so we got Claire Trope here, but then looking at Mozafari getting ready to pull.
Solid pull from Mozafari. It's going to pass half field, give her defense plenty of time to get set. It's Caroline Normile.
Those upwind pulls are hard.
Finds Claire Trope with plenty of space on the far side. Over to, I believe, is Prouvier. Dump back and over the Caroline Normile. Claire Trope again on the doorstep. Quick dish to Ritzman. Dish back to Lisa Dang. Hits the break side for Claire Trope. It's a little too far.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say DC looking very efficient, moving the disc very well, but miscalculation is going to give Surge their first break opportunity here.
So this is where things can get a little interesting. If the Surge can march up the field here and score a break, that's just going to light this stadium up. The fans are going to go wild, and we might see momentum shift pretty quickly here. Asumi Onaway with the disc in her own end zone. In a little scramble, looks like a bit of a double team. I don't know if that's legal, but I assume it
you
was...
would hope they would call it depending on the distance, but definitely looking to clam up that that throwing lane that Onaway was looking for.
It's Jess Brand on the far side with the disc. Inside shot to Mozafari. Pumps the D puck, throws it anyway. Oh, great D there from Marie Prouvier.
Yeah, a first-year addition to the DC Shadow up from Atlanta, making a big impact on this DC team in her debut season. We'll see it again here. Just absolute...
Sorry to cut you off. Claire Trope is throwing it deep, looking for Prouvier, and there you go. There's your bookends.
There's our bookends. Yes, absolutely. Marie Prouvier going far and away with that disc, and we are up now. DC is up 3-1 on Philadelphia Surge here in with 5:05 left in the first quarter.
I'm noticing the way that this DC team sets themselves up on offense. They have a lot of space to work with, and you just have Claire Trope in a huge lane with tons of space, and she's almost always going to get open with that much space. So I think going forward, Surge needs to come up with something to at least try and clog that lane or do something to disrupt this DC rhythm, or else we might just see them start running away.
All right, and we're going to go to a break.
Good deep cut from Claire Trope. It's a nice matchup, Trope and Linda Morse here as the DC Shadow continue to work it up the field.
Claire France again with the disc, looking for Marge Walker. Marge over to Lisa Dang. Back to Ritzman.
It's Normale in the center. Finds Marie Pervier. Over to, that's Florence Brooks. Ooh, almost a miscatch, but Marie Pervier able to come down with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Little tip to the south, just for a little bit of extra flash. Why make it just as easy as it could be?
So DC go up 5-2 with another break there. Looks like a couple just mental errors, perhaps, from the surge right now, really bringing them down. So we see a great deep shot from Walsh here. Great cut from Linda Morse.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happened here on this misconnection.
Yeah.
It looks like maybe just the change of momentum didn't happen exactly as had hoped. And yep, there's that tipped catch and from Marie Previer. Looks like the team's talking over maybe some of the specifics of that last point, looking to fine-tune what they're doing and make sure that they're able to keep up the pace for this game. I know I had the chance to sit in with some of the DC players on the way up today, and the amount of strategy that goes into and thinking that goes into each of these matchups is just incredible. It's really, really exciting to see that level of play.
I believe that's Sour Beer with the pull.
Yes, just Sour Beer. And that was our first upwind score, that last point.
So now the game kind of changes here. Surge are going to have to work it upwind as Walsh hits Linda Morse on the far side. Looking for Lindsay McKenna going deep. It's McKenna versus Gentilette in the deep space.
Oh.
A little bit of contact. Looks like no foul call there. Just kind of some bumping around.
As it happens, good to see everyone coming out of that okay. You never know when there's contact, what might come out of it, and so always want to make sure safety is first.
Yep.
Lizzie Laurie with the disc.
Finds Amanda Murphy, maybe not.
Oh, no.
A little bit of contact there. She's going to call foul. I disagree with this foul call. I think, yes, there was contact. I don't think she was going to have a play on that. I think she's coming to that realization as well.
Yeah, I think she's retracting that.
So you hear the Boo Birds of Philadelphia out in full right now.
Even though it ended up not affecting the play, that was a dangerous play.
Okay,
It went up in a way that made that.
Did hear the observer call that a dangerous play. Didn't
It is
have
still
an
dark
effect.
stick. It is still dark stick.
Didn't have an effect on the play. Surge will
When you're ready.
have possession now.
I like the clarification, though. I think that dangerous plays are something that everyone in the sport is still learning more about, and we've got, a big rip. And big double layouts from Erin McCann, and that was Linda Morse?
Yes, looks like McCann is now calling an injury. So we see this replay here. Walsh with another deep shot.
Yeah, and are the Boo Birds, are those a native species to Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, they are. Pretty sure they're native here.
And out in full force.
Yeah, they
Big flock.
are. You can find them in other cities, but never as strong as they are.
Okay.
here.
But this is like their spiritual home.
I think so.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. Don't quote me on it. It's just kind of my gut feeling. But
Okay.
Annalise Peters will start with the disc here for the DC Shadow. It was looking to be another grueling point that started as a no point for the Surge.
We've got a little bit, just over a minute left in this quarter.
Looks like a little bit of a junky look here. Isn't it enough to slow this DC Shadow offense down as they break it pretty quickly?
Brooks to O looking downfield.
Nice sliding grab from Amanda Murphy. Finds Gentilette in the center. Quick over to Annalise Peters, right on the goal line.
Perhaps a travel.
Yep. Violation now.
We are stopped now, but that is correct. It is not a stoppage. Let's get a 3-2-1.
It's Chris Vanny, the observer. His voice you hear there, kind of clarifying the rules down on the field. So travel was called. It doesn't stop play, but play still stopped. That shouldn't have happened. Now, I imagine we are discussing what the stall is coming in on.
Yes.
It should be 4. It should be 4.
Okay, there we
coming
go.
in on 4.
Big shout out to our observers who are watching this. Okay.
Good shot. Here we go. A little bit of drama here.
Yeah. High suspense. Scored by first-year player Florence Brooks, who will also be spending her first year on DC Scandal for the club season. So shout out to Flo, who is a player who I just respect tremendously, puts in a ton of effort into her game, does a lot of work in the community to make sure that the sport is growing, and is just a tremendous sort of, I would say, pillar of the community sort of person. It's always good to see them succeed on the field as well.
I agree. We see some changes here for the Surge O-line. Sarah Liang switching over from the D-line. Rahamo Zafari switching over from the D-line. I believe Sumi Onoi is also switching over from the D-line. A little bit of some frustration, some visible frustration from a couple of players on that Surge O-line. As they just got broken again. Here we are at that threshold that we talked about. The Surge are up 6-2. They have a 4-point lead. This is a must-score point for the Surge.
They don't have much time to do it with just 24 seconds on the clock as we start at this point. But yes, we do get a last possession, and so even if the Surge do not score within the time for the quarter, as long as they keep possession, they'll be able...
Wow.
Oh, but there is a layout block. That was Erin McCann, and so DC will get the last say in this quarter.
Erin McCann with another layout block here. Early on in the game, really working hard on this D-line for a DC Shadow, and just McKenna just not putting enough on that little inside backhand. It's a little inside her receiver. There's Trope with the disc, about 15 yards out, centers it. Cammie Groom. Cammie's going to shoot for the end zone. That's going to be a goal for the DC Shadow. Another break here.
And bookends for Erin McCann, I believe. Erin McCann sporting a rat earring, symbol of the Parcha team that she plays for in the club season. They have a significant rat motif, I think, throughout. Rat and throwing chairs, and so good chaotic energy. But here we are at the end of the first quarter, and DC is up 7-2 over Philly. So what do we think Philadelphia... Yeah, so we're going to get a look at this play again. Man, Erin McCann just putting her body out for the disc.
Yeah, having herself a field day on defense for the Shadow here.
And then reeling it in for the score. Looking good. We'll be interested to see what happens in the second quarter. Oh, looks like a stoppage on the field.
I believe another pick has been called. Lisa Dang is one of those players that has like a very unique style, I think. She has her own sort of swag.
Absolutely.
Just very crafty thrower. She's there's times, at least when I've watched her play, there are times where she might make a mistake. Nobody's perfect, but she's a very crafty thrower.
No stall here.
Definitely something to keep an eye on here as this game goes forward. Ritzman will have the disc. Not sure what was decided there, but play is live.
Getting into an end zone set.
Mozafari on Pervier. Some good fakes there to move the mark. Lisa Dang, the disc, covered by Yana Graham. Good pressure on the mark there. Lisa Dang loses her footing, finds the inside flick.
I think that's Claire France.
Claire France, and the observers are calling that one a goal.
Okay.
So another goal for the Shadow. That point felt like there was a little bit more pressure from the surge on defense, and that's something that's going to have to continue in order for them to get back into this game.
Yeah, pressure on the mark. I think Shadow just having to work a little bit harder, and I think those incremental changes over time will really make a difference for Surge as they're working their way back into this game. But Shadow's still up, 8-3 over Surge as we get ready for the next point. We see Claire France, one of the players who commutes, sort of a super commuter into DC out of Kansas City. Had the opportunity to watch France at Gold Nationals this year, where she was one of the Casey Mahomes, the winning team for Gold Nationals. So always fun to see, a little bit of a different side of a player. And we've got Annalise Peters lining up to deliver the pull on this next point here. There we go.
Usual suspects from the DC Shadow D line here. Nice pull. We'll go to about a bit shy of half field.
Just shy.
DeSabato gets ready to pick up. Natalie Bova working in the middle of the field. Tons of space there. Bova with a dish back to Walsh. Good read. Secure possession.
Oh no.
Looks like Natalie
Amanda Beans cleaning that one up.
Yeah.
Amanda Beans Murphy, I should say. Looking for a reset. Lizzie Laurie.
Back to Gesso. Gesso finds Gentilette. Over to Peters. Peters upfield to Murphy. Murphy pumps the deep shot.
Thought about it.
Swings to O. O with a little bladey flick, looking for Gentilette.
That one-handed grab. Now that is, if we were talking about swag earlier, that is a high swag grab, I think, from Gentilette. Just plucking that disc out of the air. Not the easiest throw to catch, but Gentilette makes it look like this is a part and parcel of their end zone set, which I am going to guess it is not.
DC take the lead 9-3. We have 9 minutes and 9 seconds left in the second quarter. Still plenty of the game left here. You see this turnover, bit of an errant throw from Natalie Bova, kind of uncharacteristic, and then this bladey flick from Gesso. Good spot. Linda Morris right there, had a chance to make a play on it, but couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, we're looking at DC sending another line out. We've got... it looks like Jackie Wong with the disc, getting ready to pull, and that was another upwind point, and so DC getting 2 in that upwind end zone, pretty critical. So now Surge is going to have to work their way upwind to score again.
Jackie Wong getting set to pull. Downwind pull, a little low, but
makes its way.
Sure does. Mozafari up to Liang. 2 D-line presences here on the O-line, so we do see Surge continuing to switch up personnel, this time to a fault as Liz Hart and Lane Dodge were both kind of cutting into space. Jackie Wong shooting deep, looking for Cammie Groom.
Ooh, just a little bit out of Cammie Groom's usually very wide catching circumference.
I think this might be the first time I've seen someone overthrow Cammie Groom.
It was a first for everything.
All right, we have Lindsay McKenna at the disc on the far side. Looking for a dump here from Ozafari. Just another
Emma
quick
Jones
flip.
getting in there into that mix. Nice little block on that reset.
Yeah, Surge really struggling in the reset space. Cami Groom on the end zone here. Is hard on the mark. Looking for a dump. Goes back to Jackie Wong in the end zone for another goal. Another break for the DC Shadow. And here we just see them starting to run away with it.
Yeah, this is where sort of the turning point that we've seen in other games that DC has played, where DC has built up a pretty strong cushion and is able to continue to play to their strengths, being able to continue to play with a lot of efficiency and a lot of intensity. One of the things that I remember talking to Coach John Agan about in a previous game is saying that DC always wants to play to the highest level that it can. It doesn't ever want, the team doesn't want to drop its intensity even if they're up. And so I think we're going to be continuing to see DC just continue to drive and drive and drive until the end of this game.
I think that's the mark of any good, I should say great, high caliber competitive sports team. Just and one thing too is just the depth that DC has. Like, sure, you have Cami Groom there, but there's a lot of players, a lot of first-year players that you've been mentioning that are stepping up and having huge impacts in a lot of different ways. So that's also one thing that you love to see.
Let's go.
You see
Little
here, Joel.
pump-up conversation. Surge looking to maybe collect themselves again as they're getting back out on the field.
It's Joel Prussian trying to hype the team up there. Surge roll out another O-line. This is the typical O-line, the usual O-line, the one that we're used to seeing here from the Surge.
Yeah, and Joel, a great presence in the Philadelphia community. Coach for a number of different teams. I believe Philadelphia Flight, amongst others. And so it's great to see him behind the clipboard for Surge and getting to work with this particular set of players.
Yes, very big presence in the Philadelphia scene. Has a lot of, takes pride in kind of his throwing acumen, his ability to help people become better throwers. So it's good to see him on the offensive side here for the Surge.
Yeah, and I think Surge, again, they're not making huge errors, but it's really those small miscommunications, the small things that they can really dial in. And I mean, I think that's on one side incredibly encouraging, because if they can dial in a little bit more, they can sort of get right back in this game, but it's also frustrating to be making those kinds of mistakes.
Yeah, especially at this level. Walsh grabs the pull here, centers to Sabato. Sabato up the field to Liz Hart. See this offense moving a little bit quicker.
Yeah, they are sort of getting pushed to that one side of the field, but there's a nice centering pass.
Walsh with the disc there in the middle. Finds Linda Morse on the close sideline. Fakes the inside. Walsh with a great move.
Oh, shook off Walker there.
See this throw go up, looking for Liz Hart, and that's
There
a goal.
we go.
Head spike.
Head spike. Love to see it.
So it's a 10-4.
Crowd's going wild.
DC Shadow
should.
up 10-4. Got 7 minutes, 30 seconds left in the second quarter. And this is the type of energy, if you're on the Surge, you need to keep this up. Whether you score the goal, whether you get the D or not, this is the type of energy and intensity you need to keep up for the rest of this game if you have any hope of coming back.
There's Hart again, the person or player who scored that last point. And yeah, I think that sort of sort of underdog energy can be a really powerful one. I've been on teams where, you're working your way back, and it can really put a fire in the bellies of the players. And so maybe if it lights it strong enough, we'll see Philadelphia be able to really get back into this game.
Lindsay McKenna getting set to pull here.
Hear some big cheers from the crowd. Love to hear it. Love the presence. Pretty full stands over there.
Here's the pull from McKenna. This one looks like it's probably going to go out of bounds.
Drifting that way.
Yep.
It is in the stands.
Into the stands.
So will look to get that centered away. Observers bringing that to the players.
Is that Sour Beer starting with the disc?
I believe so.
So this actually looks like DC Shadow's D-line here out on offense.
Again, like we talked about earlier, oh my.
Deep shot immediately for Gentillette. McKenna's there, gets the D. Gentillette can't come down with the second effort. Surge immediately looking to take advantage here of this opportunity. Kat Harper back to Lindsay McKenna. Good cut from Gwen. It's not there. Sarah Liang's going to get the bailout throw. Little dishy to McKenna. Good defense on the hammer there from Jesso. Here comes a deep shot to space. Sour Beer is
down there alone, though.
Kat Harper with a great grab. Quick flip to Sarah Liang. That's going to be a goal.
Is that the first break for Surge? Am I taking that into account correctly?
I think you're correct.
Yeah, I think so. And in the they're first in the upwind space, anyways. But that is, that is the first Surge break. And so, like we said, getting that fire, getting that bite, getting ready to come back out, and never really giving up. I mean, we've seen games that where the tides can turn, the energy can shift, and so. Again, with DC not really having had an experience of being chased down and getting sort of pushed back in this way, we'll have to see how DC responds because it's not a situation they've really seen yet.
For sure. As we see, it looks like majority of that D-line that just broke DC is staying here. A couple substitutions. See Gwen Rao out there, Jess Brand.
I have to imagine that there might be a heat timeout after this point, and so maybe thinking that they can go through this point without, which that last point was relatively short anyways, but have that personnel be able to stay out a little bit longer.
So we see Lane Dodge getting set to pull here.
Another lane, we love to see it.
This one's going to roll a bit, well past half field. Jackie Wong in the center with the disc. The fans are really into it right now. Pressure's on. Finds a good break throw to Allie Wallace on the far sideline. Centers it to Cammie Groom. Cammie Groom and Kat Harper, that's another fun matchup here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Good cut from Jackie Wong to get open in the handler space.
Nice roll there, nice switch.
It's not enough to stop Jackie Wong. Another crafty, swaggy player. Cammie Groom.
Oh, absolutely.
Finds.
Pretty good golfer, too.
Number 4, Mueller. Over to.
I think that's Graham Cunningham who just got the disc.
Okay.
But got Allie Wallace.
Not in there.
Not in there. That is Ellen Mueller.
Number 4.
Right there to assist to Cammie Groom. All right.
Good pressure from the Surge. It's not enough to stop this DC offense.
But again, I think they're putting more pressure on. I'm seeing throws that are going to narrower spaces, the stall count going up a little bit higher. But DC able to execute Jackie to Ellen. Ellen, a first-year player on the Shadow and a captain of the mixed team DC Rally, who I get to work with. Really just lovely person. And then Cammie Groom, who we know has been making an impact on Shadow for this season and the many seasons that she's played on this team.
I believe we are going to see another heat timeout here as the teams look to kind of stay hydrated, stay cool as best they can.
We want to make sure that the player safety is the first and foremost thing that the PUL wants to take care of, and so
this broadcast is sponsored by Breakmark. Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab shops. That's breakmark.com. I'd also like to take this time to shout out Friction Gloves. Friction Gloves are very excited to be a partner of the PUL and be the official glove of championship weekend. Players around the league wear friction gloves, and they love seeing amazing plays made in their gloves week after week. They're thankful for the opportunity and look forward to expanding their partnership for the 2025 season. So it seems like it's been a brief heat timeout.
I wonder if we're shortening them or changing the levels that we have based on maybe it could be cooling down a little bit on the turf. We might be at a different level. But it looks like, looking at the flag, there's still that upwind, downwind breeze that is present and affecting the plays. And so that is still something that the players are going to have to take into account as they continue on. And it looks like I see McKenna holding the disc. It looks like she's getting ready to pull. See a hand signal from our observers, and I see our coaches making their way off the lines. Maybe.
DC is going to be pulling. I believe that's Marie Pervier. Nice pull. Blady. It's going to bounce and roll. DeSalvado will save it. Center it up to Walsh. Finds Lyndon Morse on the close side. Natalie Bova calling for the disc. Was wide open on her cut. Finally gets it. Quick swing to McKenna. Good patience from McKenna. Nice grab from Bova.
Oh, nice.
Save possession. Centers it to Shields. Ooh, nice defense there, but Dre DeSalvado keeps it alive. Good heads-up play. Swings over to Walsh. Cross field to DeSalvado. Now we're using the whole width of the field here a little bit.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from this offense here. Being able to really have the confidence to swing that disc, make use of the full width.
Nice grab from Walsh on that layout. Again, saving possession.
Looks like they're getting into their end zone set.
Finds Morse in center. Morse back to Walsh. Walsh, little blade, but just bounces off the hands of McKenna there. Can't come down with it.
All right, so DC's going to have a chance to go downwind on this break opportunity. One that I'm sure that they're eager to take a hold of, and looks like McKenna taking injury call.
Yes, she was nursing a thumb injury. Wondering if that play maybe had an effect there. Maybe re-aggravated it a little bit. Sumi Onoe.
Hopefully she's okay. See her talking to one of the surge personnel now. But as the play continues, we have Carolyn Normal picking up the disc. Marge Walker. Pervier.
To Ritzman. Back to Walker.
I think that's one thing that's been pretty notable about this DC team. It's a floaty pass.
Might have gotten a hand on that. Not enough to stop the throw from going through. And the Shadow are marching up the field. Ritzman with the disc right now.
Yeah, the cutter-to-cutter chemistry on DC Shadow, where they're able to sort of take off like they just did, has been a real hallmark of their work this season.
Normal with the disc has two cutters.
Ooh, big
Ritzman
bid.
there. Walsh with a nice bid, but can't come down with it. Lisa Dang with the disc. Inside shot. Finds, I believe that's Brivier.
Yeah.
The nice little one-handed snag. Low throw, low grab, but a goal's a goal here. DC Shadow now extend their lead 12-5. We have 2 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first half. So the Surge have their work cut out for them. I wouldn't count them out just yet. Down, 7 points? I'm not great at math. I think it's 7.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so they're down 7.
See some shout-outs happening with Emma Jones and Marie Pervier. Clearly in good spirits after that fun grab. Looks Pervier feeling very confident. That was
I think
goal.
Lisa Dang was actually, her target there was Claire Trope, but the wind kind of affected the throw, and Pervier with just a great heads-up play, just plucked that one before it hits the ground. Good on her. She's having herself a career game and, dare I say, season.
Absolutely. All right, Annalise Peters winding up.
See Surge kind of moseying on up the field. The fans are still in it as Lane Dodge gets open. Big backhand fake there.
I think I felt the wind all the way from that over here in the booth.
Pick was called here. I believe Jess O is calling the pick on Kat Harper, so that does affect. Yeah, fans are booing, but it was kind of warranted. Kat Harper came from the center of the stack there, which is a recipe for a pick call. Lane Dodge will have the disc here on the far side. Shoots
Looking
immediately.
big.
Jess Brand is there. One-handed grab. She has it.
Love to see it.
Look at that celebration.
Big excitement from the crowd. Yeah, people standing, cheering. Yeah, she's got to be feeling that one. That was a great reception by Philadelphia Surge. Seeing the fans in the stands. I see a lot of PSP jerseys out there.
A lot of Loco players out there, too, in the stands cheering their teammate Jess Brand on. She's happy.
Who wouldn't be after a catch like that?
I agree.
Yeah.
Not to bring it down or anything, we still got 6 points. Still down 6, so...
Hey, but that's
the type
one
of
less.
energy.
One less than they were right before the start of the last point. So
yeah, that's the type of energy you need to continue on here. And let's see if that kind of moves over to this D-line here for the Surge.
all right, who you got pulling here?
That is, I believe, Grace Hodges.
All right.
As they get set to pull here. Nice pull.
That is a great pull.
Stays in bounds. Crosses half field. And your defense is getting set.
See a little side stack action.
Yeah, Emma Jones with the disc. Looking for Allie Wallace on the bailout, but great pressure from Sumi Onoue. Now the Surge with a chance to capitalize. Nice grab from Sumi. Looking for the reset.
Man, Sumi is just such a poised player. Just really love to watch Sumi go to work.
Cool as a cucumber almost always.
Yeah, that's, I would say, the least. Yeah, the bare minimum you could say about Sumi. What a great player. So fun to watch.
Sumi working with Kat Harper right now in the handler space. Honestly, keep giving it to her. Let her cook. Great movement and a miscommunication again from the Surge.
Yeah, had that open break opportunity, but just, and now we've got a big rip.
Jackie Wong now missing
Allie
a beat.
Wallace looking to check in, but just out of her hands, sort of flying right over her head, which can be a difficult place to locate the disc. And I'm hearing a timeout being called by
The Surge.
So maybe a chance to shake up some personnel. They might be looking to make sure that they're putting out their best offensive effort on this play.
Yeah, there's only 44.6 seconds left in the first half, so you really want to put your players out there that are going to secure possession for the rest of the half as well as score would be ideal.
I see McKenna jogging out to the field, and I do see it looks like she has a brace on that right hand, and so maybe just needed a little reinforcement on that injury. But she was throwing lefties a minute ago when she was warming up, and so I know she's been working on those.
Here's a couple turnovers that we've seen here, just a little bit out of the reach for Allie Wallace. And Sumi, who we talked about, is cool as a cucumber. I think just miscommunication with Mo Zafari there. And then Jackie Wong just taking no time, just immediately ripping it. And Allie Wallace looks like she just blinked as she went to catch it.
Those things will happen, and for DC, that is not something that they're going to have to pay a huge penalty for, I don't think, at this time. So Philadelphia with the disc, tapping it in.
Walsh with the ball. Over to Sarah Liang. Sarah Liang's going to try a deep shot, but Not in
Claire Trope says no.
Not on the Claire Trope Island. I might want to stay away from that matchup there.
Again, not one that I'd like to take.
Jackie Wong with the disc centers it to Claire Trope. Cami Groom, far side, flip up to Jess O.
Oh, that's a run through. I saw that one.
Wow, Linda Morris with an explosive
She was hunting for
run
that.
through layout D. Jess O with some pressure on the shadow side. Lindsay McKenna back in the game, shooting deep for Sarah Hironet at the buzzer. Gentilette can't come down with it, but it's not in. Surge retain possession. They have a chance here. Yep, Sarah Hironet saying, just chill. I agree. There's no
They've got time
limit.
to work. They've just got this whole possession, so they don't have to possess.
Great cut from Walsh there to get open for that bailout. It's getting high in the stall count. Walsh really just a master of getting open in those really tight spaces. Kenna with
a lot
the
of small
disc.
movements.
Back to Walsh, wide open. Looks like we're going to have a call.
Looks like a bit of a
Signals say pick.
pick.
I think it's coming in on 6 or 7.
Pretty high stall count.
Quick flip to Walsh.
Pinned in that corner, which is always can be a hard one to work through, but
McKenna's there for the goal.
there. All right, so Surge ticking up on that scoreboard to bring it down to a 5-point gap. 7 on the Philly Surge side, 12 in DC. So good to see McKenna back out there after that injury point that she took.
Yeah, and this is really huge goal there for the Surge. You have to score that one and be able to feel good about yourself coming into this next half here. As we see a couple of highlights, here's that layout D from Trope, just making sure it goes down. And Linda Moore's coming in hot, as you said, was hunting for that one. That's the type of mentality the Surge are going to need on defense to come throughout this game here if they want to come back.
Yeah, I mean, the intensity is great. They have to play like they believe that they are still in it. If they are thinking that they're in it, then we're going to see some magic happen, I think, in the second half.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. We are going to go ahead and head to break here. It's 12-7. DC Shadow over the Surge in Philadelphia here. We'll see you on the next half. Looks like they did sub in their O-line. So Ken on the dump on the mark here. That's Cami Groom getting open up line.
Junking up that front cone space there.
Finds the dump back to Claire Trope. Claire Trope looking upfield to a wide open. Is that Perivier?
That is Perivier, and that is Perivier's 5th goal, I believe.
Wide open.
Wide open. Yeah, it looks like, again, maybe some small miscommunications on who was going to take that space, but leaving that front cone space open for someone like Perivier, who has been scoring quite a bit this game, is a mistake that will keep Shadow up seven points on Surge.
Is that Perivier's 5th goal?
I think so. I think she almost had the one that was deep into the back, but
that would have been her 5th.
That would have been her 5th, but okay. I think this one was. So that is keeping her ratios. She remains at third of the goals. And so we're going to take a look at some of Perivier's highlights here, both defensive and offensive, really making a lot of impact here for DC Shadow.
Yeah, speaking of stellar performance so far from Perivier.
Yeah, I've another superb goaltee player, has a lot of gas in the tank to just keep going and going and going, and we've seen Perivier on the attack just relentless today. So, all right.
That was Sour Beer with the pull. This one's going to roll.
Big roller.
Bova with a little kick stop there. We have Nikki Tucker-Ross with the disc picking up for the Surge. Looking for the deep shot. Doesn't have it. Instead throws it away. Not a good look for the Surge.
That's hard when you're not completing those early passes. You can't generate any momentum. But Sour Beer has the disc. Believe that's Lauren Allen to
Lauren Johnson.
Or Lauren Johnson? Lauren Allen Johnson, yes. And to Cami Groom.
For the goal. What can I say about that point?
I mean, it's hard to see a team that you know is so capable of the offense and the movement that we have seen from Surge fall apart in these small ways. I think that, I don't want to say that the play is beneath them, but at this level of competition, you'd really hope that that wasn't the thing that was getting in their way to be competitive against this DC team.
I think, if nothing else, this is a big learning experience for the Surge to, we no longer see DC during the regular season since the
redraw.
Yes, the redraw of the pools and what such. So in order to see them here tonight, you see, at least in my eyes, I see a complete team, a team that uses their depth well, that has players that are playing both sides of the ball with ease, and there's no hesitation in a lot of these throwers or these cuts. They're very decisive, and I just see it. It's the best way for me to describe the Shadows. It's just a really good team all together. They
do have a great depth, and they have been using it quite well.
You see McKenna looking here, shooting for Jess Brand. A little Westchester connection. Jess Brand will come down with it. Dumps back to Ronoe. Back to Liang. Liang up the field for Mozafari. Little quick flip up to Kat Harper. That's a goal.
Okay. Got some bite.
You see it when the Surge want to score, when they want to take care of business, they can. We know they're capable of it. Just, are you capable of it point after point after point? Like I said earlier in the game, at this point, you need to play defense. What is that, 7 points in a row if you want to take this lead back?
Yeah, the consistency is a thing that I think has been really been sort of gumming up the Surge's potential for this game. It's just being able to come through over and over and over again has been a bit of a challenge for them. And we see that little flip though to Kat Harper, and that is keeping Surge within that 7-point realm that they've been able to sort of chip away at, and then sort of that leash gets let loose a little bit, but we see DC ready to take it on for offense once more.
Surge getting ready to pull here. That is Grace Hodges looking to pull.
Got the lights fully on here in Philadelphia as the sun has set.
Truly is a beautiful sight here with the lights on.
This is a great stadium.
See some buildings in the back room. Good skyline view as Grace Hodges pulls.
Ooh, it's a nice rip downfield.
It's a good pull. Surge a little slow to get down. Only one pass has gone up, so the defense is covered. Caroline Weinberg on the mark.
Here's a big chance from the Philly fans.
Claire Trope with the disc on the far side.
Good contest, though, by the defense there.
That's 24 Casey Gorman on Claire Trope. I think that was Normile with the cheeky around.
Lisa Dang with the disc. Back to Trope.
Trope looking deep. She's going to fire it.
Is that where it's... Oh.
Linda Morse with a nice
in the mix. It's a great block.
Now we see the momentum sort of shift here. You're the Surge. I see them kind of taking their time, but there is 1 minute and 30 seconds left here in the third quarter. You got to score quick.
But also have the composure and the patience not to rush things. You have to make the right opportunities.
Certainly. Grace Hodges with a nice layout grab there to secure possession.
And maybe a timeout. Yeah. So cool. I think this is an opportunity for Philadelphia to put in their key personnel for offense and really make sure that they're able to execute on this drive.
Yep. So the score is still 16-9, 1 minute and 13 left in the third. I'm assuming Surge are going to sub in some offensive personnel here to try and secure the bag, as I like to say.
There's that big rip from Trope from earlier, and there's that just ultimate denial from Linda Morse. We'll be interested to see if DC mixes up any of their matchups for the personnel that has come off. So we've got, although it looks like, I would say most of the players from DC look like they stayed on from earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of tough with DC when you've seen them switching their personnel on both sides of the ball so often this game. It's like, well, is this a D-line? Is this an O-line? No, it's just the DC shadow line. As DeSabato will start the disc, she's marked by Jackie Wong.
Gets to go downfield for this one.
A little downwind action for the Surge as we see this one pop up in the air. Great grab from Linda Morse, really doing all she can in this game. Big
flat mark there.
Finds the inside shot to Alfano.
Looks like a
strip maybe, or a foul. It's going to be called
There's a call.
The Boo Birds are not happy. Looks like it's uncontested, though. Or maybe it is contested?
It is contested. Again, hand signs, hand signals. Call for everyone to know them, use them, celebrate them.
I'm not going to lie, I think that was a clean block. It's always so tough to tell when
we do have the best perspective from here. Although
one player is
there is a turnover. As they say, the disc doesn't lie. But here we are with DC.
Up the field to Cammie Groom. Up to Amanda Murphy.
Again, DC can, if they keep possession of the disc, they can play it out. They do not have to finish in the time that the clock will show. Although they might. And right as the buzzer goes, there is a block from
Emily Shields.
And so I believe that is how the quarter will end.
So good on the Surge for at least stopping a goal from being scored here at the end of the quarter. There is some kind of discussion being had on the field, I think.
I am not sure if they are thinking that maybe time will come back and there will be
I presume.
If there will be time coming back on the clock.
Yeah, like
so
incredible.
Let's see what ends up happening here. Although it looks like both teams are
I think that's the end of the
pretty
quarter.
fanned out. So I think that will be a chance for each team to get a bit of a break, for the observers to get a break. I don't know, have you ever observed or refereed?
No.
Okay. It is hard work, so again, kudos to our observer staff. And we see Surge taking a bit of a circle as we get ready for this fourth quarter.
Wallace. Nice close sideline here. Nice little flick goes up. Tons of space. Who is it? It's Cami Groom. Cami Groom with no real mark. Flips it in. That is
Jess Sauerbeer.
Jess Sauerbeer with the goal.
Yeah.
What a crazy point.
That was wild.
That was awesome.
That was Jackie's point all over the place. Let's see some of that again.
With a great shot, and then, yeah, just Jackie Wong. Wow.
And just up and walking like it was just another day at work.
And then 30 seconds later, she's hitting the ground again.
Mm-hmm.
This great shot to space.
Yeah, that was a nice look there. And then, yeah, Jess Sauerbeer often on the other side of a point, but great to see her in the scoring space as well.
Didn't recognize her without a hat on.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, we've got Jackie with 2 goals and a block there, 1 turn also, but
I feel like all those
that
stats.
assist.
I think all those stats happened that last point.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, we got Previer ready to wind up for this pull.
9 minutes, 14 seconds here. The Surge are down 7. DC, really cool with just however long it takes Surge to score. If they can just force them to throw as many throws as possible.
Yeah, time is
much time.
Time is not on the Surge's side now.
It certainly isn't. Walsh up the field to Liz Hart. Liz Hart to Hiranet. Looks like their pick is called on the field. Not sure if that'll affect. I'm seeing head nods that it does affect. And Boo Birds to confirm.
Birds. The flock is not happy.
No, they aren't. But same throw goes off. It's completed this time. Something else is going on.
I think maybe a violation there.
Okay. I'm just not going.
Looks like they're canceling the violation call.
So she's taking it back for good.
So nothing happened.
Okay.
Hiranet with the disc.
Going forward.
Hits Walsh on the dump. Freddie Sabato finds Morris instead. Morris shooting deep. There's a couple players there. Wow! Whoa! Rachel Alfano scooping it up. Look what she found. A goal.
It's a nice thing to find. That was a well-shaped throw from Linda Morris into that end zone. Had a nice edge to it. Let's see that again. Oh, yeah,
wow.
Just came out of the hands of, looked like maybe Claire France and into the hands of Alfano. Got to be ready at any point, right?
Yeah. That's why they say, catch your D's.
They do say that. I have been known, I believe I have said that, and I'll probably say it again. Yep. So, all right.
8 minutes, 9 seconds left here. And the score is 17-11. The lights are on. The field is very well lit. And according to the groundskeeper, now that the sun is down, all the heat that has been stored in this turf is now being released from the turf back into the atmosphere.
I'm sure there's a little heat bubble if there's a heat map somewhere of this area.
I would love to just see it through a heat gun, like some kind of radar
absolutely.
type action. I think that would look cool. So McKenna gets set to pull here. Nice big pull. Will it stay in? It's going to.
Downwinder.
Oh, a miscommunication between Jesso and Annalise Peters. Annalise Peters looking to cut up line. Jesso was like, why are you moving? You're open right now. Throws it. Incomplete. McKenna will start this off.
Short field here.
Oh. Looking for lane dodge.
It's Florence Brooks with the attempted block.
Yeah, good defense from there. Lane dodge is going to call, I believe, either a strip or a foul. Would be my guess.
Looks like the observers might be called in for this one. They are circling the situation.
Time is still ticking away.
The ruling is it was a foul.
It was a foul. Lane dodge will start with the disc. We are live. Back to Lindsay. Back to Lane. Dodge. Back to McKenna. Over to Bova. Bova flip to McKenna. Using the lefty fakes, the righty fakes. Goes with the righty flick. Oh, Sarah Liang just can't come down with it.
Nice pressure there from Jesso.
Jesso says, all right, Annalise, you pick up this time.
Yeah, they're gonna get it.
Annalise immediately shooting deep, looking for Gentillette.
Yeah, I guess when you have Gentillette back there. Jess
Brand with...
that would have been quite the situation for Gentillette to have made that catch from the ground.
I would have walked out of the booth. McKenna will pick
you
up the
left
disc.
Me here?
I absolutely would have.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Up to Bova on the far side. That's Casey Gorman getting the disc. Shoots upfield, finds McKenna with a little toe drag.
Calls for the end zone set.
Yeah, I was just about to say here, end zone being called out. Bova and McKenna. Nice flip. Oh, the lefty backhand. Didn't come through for McKenna there. Looks like an injury is being called.
Yes. It looks like...
I think it's Amanda Murphy.
Yeah, Beans is coming off the field.
On her own power, though, so that's good. They'll just sub in Cammie Groom.
What a person to take your place.
Yeah. Looks like we'll have Linda Morris come in for Casey Gorman.
Again, with the Heat, I know Amanda Murphy was coming back from an injury not that long ago. Had her first game against Torch, I believe, and so maybe is just feeling some effects, but it's hard to know from this vantage point. But Beans is up and moving, so that is good to see.
Annalise Peters shooting deep again, looking for Jess O. Lane dodges, they had to come down with it and take that away. Sarah Liang with the disc.
It's been a long point.
Yes, it has. Finds Natalie Bova all the way over to Jess Brand. Brand back to Bova. Back to Brand, but Bova just loses focus there on the throw. And we got some whistles here. I believe a timeout.
I think a well-placed timeout to maybe in this Heat get some fresh legs out on the field. I'm sure both teams appreciate the opportunity to get a bit of a break. We have on the camera Tara Romero-Pena, who is responsible for many of the great graphics that you see for the DC Shadow, in addition to being a player for them.
Cool. It is 17-11 here during this timeout. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you for the rest of this game. Welcome back here. We have DC Shadow coming out of a timeout. It's Carolyn Normile with the disc. Ready to start things off. Yana Graham on the mark.
Bit of a pull play we've got going here.
Takes the deep shot. I believe that's Marge Walker. Nice flick out the space for Cammie Groom. Back to Marge Walker. Across the field to Normile. Normile finds Claire Trope. Claire's going to rip one deep. Kat Harper's there. A little too much pace. Not enough height on that throw.
They needed a little air under that.
And I mean, sure, you still have a 6-goal lead. You know, time's ticking away, but if I'm the DC Shadow, I don't even really see a reason to take that puck unless it's a high stall count, which I don't think it was. Anyway.
But it might have felt good. Oh, and
it might have felt good. A little punt play action, punt play D.
See a turnover from Surge, and DC's back at it with a short field.
Normile with the disc, using the fakes, moving the mark really well. Opens up that throw to Claire Trope. In to Kat Ritzman for the gold.
Yeah, Kat Ritzman is another sort of workhorse on this team that I think could get more credit than I think she usually gets. Another person who in DC has coached YCCs, really worked with the youth scene, is a great contributor to the DC Ultimate community, and so great to see her out there making plays and moving and grooving and doing a lot of cool stuff.
Player for the Shadow for a long time now, it feels like.
I think so, yes. Yeah, has been sort of has I believe been a captain at other times, but this year we have leadership under Jackie Wong and Marge Walker, and so, but we get to see that work again. Yeah, nice.
I mean, great fakes, pivoting from Caroline Normal to just open up a huge gap to get that throw to Trope there on the inside.
5 assists from
Trope stats here.
And you've got 3 turnovers there, but when you're making the assists and the other things, I think that's a volume situation in which you're touching the disc a lot, and you're going to be seeing a couple turnovers result. And I think that at the end of the day, the numbers are what you make of them. And I think seeing something like that, especially with the rest of the play, is not something to be too terribly concerned about if I'm the coaching staff.
As we see, these Philadelphia fans are still having a good time despite their team being down 7. That is my man Schragus down there in the tie-dye shirt.
Yeah, just a shout out to all the players and the families, the friends, the volunteers who make the PUL, the experience possible across the nation.
I think I see a guy with a violin.
Oh, that would be...
What is that? Is it a banjo?
That would be... We welcome all things here at the PUL, and so as the DC Shadow huddle up and get ready to talk about the end of this game, we might want to hone in on some of the top players, not just in the PUL, but in the world. So here are the world players who are here this weekend. We see Lindsay McKenna, Raha Muzaffari, Cami Groom, Claire Trove, Valeria Cardenas, Manuela Cardenas, and Nia Cartagena. These are representing both Team USA and Team Colombia, so, and both in the mixed and the women's divisions.
And just a testament to the type of talent that the PUL is bringing in these past years. It's been interesting to watch, teams like the DC Shadow and the New York Gridlock kind of build their stature in the league over the course of these past couple years. And then, we're going to be able to watch the Surge do hopefully the same type of thing as they continue on. I don't want to, be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think the Surge are going to win this game. Wayne, it saddens me to say it, but I think that is the reality that I am prepared to face.
I think at this point in the game, that is something that Surge might be facing up to as well, but every rep is a rep that will make them better and stronger, and so hopefully they take advantage of this time together on the field to continue to sharpen and improve, and maybe that the 2024 dreams are not going to result in a championship game berth, but maybe this is the start of their 2025 season.
DeSalvo comes down with that one on a contested catch there.
DC really playing aggressive defense.
Very aggressive.
Running through every disc, just really right hot on the heels.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, and that is, I believe, Graham Cunningham. Another, not a first-year player to the PUL, came from Columbus Pride, a recent graduate from Ohio State University, an aerospace engineer.
Oh.
If you're looking for one in your department, I believe she is on the job market, so you can send any of your inquiries about aerospace engineering to Graham. I don't have any personally. We answered all of them on the write-up, so.
Good to know. Jackie Wong will start with the disc here as we have a stoppage. Looks like someone who tried to run out of their shoes, perhaps.
All better.
Cami Groom was running too fast, I assume, or someone tried to give her a flat tire. Anyway, Jackie Wong will start with the disc. Had it open. Graham Cunningham decides to go with Cami Groom instead.
Ooh, that was a nice pressure from Surge there.
It's Natalie Bowe with the pressure. Jackie Wong shooting deep. Liz Hart and chase. Wow. Goes around her defender. Has to reach back. Interesting
Liz
line to
Hart
take.
has been really key in that deep space, reeling it in on that really contested throw earlier this game, and then putting that pressure on down here.
DeSabato will center it to Alfano. Alfano to Hart. Hart had Hironet running deep.
Power position.
For Walsh.
No one there to take that. Oh boy.
Oh, tough grab there from Hironet to make. Can't come down with it. Jackie Wong's picking up. Immediately gets the ball moving to Cammie Groom.
I feel like DC's transitions have been very, very quick. They don't leave any time for the other team to get back into their sets. And so, oh, that was a nice bid, I believe, from Ellen Mueller. Very close to the end zone line. And we have an injury call. Looks like Liz Hart is coming on.
Oh, no. Yep, Liz Hart injured there. Linda Morse will sub in for her as the Surge look to
bring
punch
in, I
another
believe
point.
that Ellen is coming off, and that might be Ava Turner going in.
So yeah,
Oh, that's a long bid from Ellen Mueller. Very strong attempt.
Just not a very well-placed throw from Cammie Groom. Doesn't happen often, but it's all
It
right.
has happened.
Sabato with the disc. Up line to Walsh. Walsh looking deep as Morris. It's Natalie Bova who comes down with it. The smallest of the bunch. Don't count her out yet. Looking for Morris. Great grab from Morris.
And that's a score.
And that's a goal.
All right.
These fans, the Philadelphia fans, are still in it, still supporting their team here. It's the Surge score to make it 12. DC has 18. There is a minute and 17 seconds left in the semifinal bout.
Yes, and unlike other quarters, when that time goes off, the end of play happens. And so there is no continuation of the possession. Like in the other three quarters, that game is over when that buzzer goes off.
Linda Morris calling herself in before the observers even get a chance to.
It's a veteran
She
move.
was just that sure of it.
And there's Linda Morris, a real key player. Will be headed to Parcho, I believe, for club season this year. So looking to mix things up a little bit. A long-time AMP player, I believe.
That is correct.
And so we'll be interested to see. I'm sure she'll continue to make an impact once we get into the club season. All right.
See a lot of new personnel here for the Surge on this D-line as Tucker Ross gets ready to pull. So Caroline Weinberg out there, Gwen Rowe, Sabrina Bonacy, I think that's Lane Dodge, Sarah Liang, and Yana Graham. I'm thinking Yana Graham's going to be the first one down on this poll. If there's anything to know about her, just off to the races.
I think
Look
you
at
are
her
right.
putt.
Wow. She is moving and grooving.
Yeah, smart
Ooh.
fake there from the shadow. Good job kind of causing some little hesitation for the shadow there by the Surge. Claire Trope will get the disc.
DC Shadow has time, although that is a turnover on a relatively short field for DC Shadow. So
Trope looking for the inside shot. Oh, stay with it.
stay with. That is a hard pivot to layout situation. Trying to get your hips turned in that direction can be pretty hard under those circumstances. So
For sure.
hate to see that opportunity lost, though.
Ross also looking for an inside shot. Misses it, though, to a relatively open Sabrina Bonacy.
I think she would have been able to reel that in had she had just a little bit more of an angle on it.
Yep. Lisa Dang with the disc. Finds Carolyn Normile. That's how you're supposed to throw the inside shots. The field to Ritzman. Ritzman finds Perivier. No hesitation. Shoots for Claire Trope. Gwenro in tow.
Trope straight in
Can't
the
come down
air.
with it. I believe that's Florence Brooks to Claire Trope.
I think that might have been Marge Walker.
Marge Walker, I'm sorry. And that's another goal for DC. That'll make it 19-12, 24.2 seconds left here in the fourth quarter as we get Ready to wrap this one up, put a ribbon on it here in Philadelphia. DC Shadow just, it's just another game for them. This is kind of textbook DC Shadow, I would say, judging by the rest of their season.
Absolutely. And so not to turn our heads away from this game, but it'll be great to see the matchup between New York and Philadelphia here in some neutral territory here in Philadelphia tomorrow. Although we have Allie Wallace talking with longtime friend and teammate Lisa Dang. And here
just
we have,
to clarify for you, it will be DC versus New York tomorrow in the finals.
Yes. I don't know what I said, but
said Philadelphia.
I did say Philadelphia, here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, I think that's going to be a really good matchup. I think for probably the first time in the PUL. I'm not sure, my memory isn't too great, but it feels like we have the two best teams in the league battling for the championship, and I think that is going to be a very exciting game. Some questions to be answered there. Who on DC has the Manu matchup? Who on DC has the Valeria matchup? Who on DC has the Jenny De Jesus matchup?
Yes, these are all questions that if you turn in tomorrow, that you might get the chance to get the answers to. So
here net with the disc here, close sideline. Emily Shields with the disc. 10 seconds left. A little bit of chaos here to end this one out. McKenna looking deep. She's going to put it up. Far side backhand. Will it stay in bounds? And a Morse with the toe tap in the goal, and that's going to do it.
That is game.
19-13. DC Shadow win. Moving on to the finals here at Championship Weekend in beautiful Philadelphia. What a night it has been.
Absolutely. I know we're expecting a scorcher, I believe, again tomorrow. So being played at midday, we can expect some more heat timeouts. I think that the teams are going to have to use their personnel very wisely in terms of how they're rotating in and out, making sure they're using the full depth of their rosters, and we're getting here to see just a nice closing look at the two teams as one team concludes their season, one team makes their advance to the championships tomorrow.
Yeah, so last year I think the vibe here in Philadelphia was very much we got snubbed from the playoffs. This year they earned their right to be here, and now we see what has happened as they come up just short in this semifinal matchup. The teams finish slapping hands. We have some finishing stats here to show you all. See 10 holds from each team. The Surge had more clean holds. I guess it's an interesting thing to look at when you see the score.
There are a fair number of turnovers from both teams, but you really see it's the breaks. Where was Shadow able to create breaks where Surge came up short? And there's the 7 points right there that we've kind of talked about all game. It was a 6-point deficit at the end. And so let's talk about some impact players. You have Ashley Gentilette. We have Linda Morse out there for Surge, making a lot of plays.
This is earlier on in the game. Yeah, Linda Morse really just doing a whole lot. Sumionoi, nice layout grab. Tons of highlights in this game.
Absolutely.
On both sides of the ball.
Erin McCann. I think this is going to be that Liz Hart grab.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Great work there. Then later in the game, you had this big rip. Claire Trope getting up.
Two-handed grab. I feel like that's just classic Claire Trope. Just two hands over whoever. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And so we'll be hoping to see more of Claire Trope doing some cool stuff tomorrow.
Yep.
DC, New York, 2 o'clock tomorrow. We hope to see you there.
Thanks, y'all.